Let's see. I don't know what's going on with my laptop. I'm hoping that this video saves. Please let it save, let it stream. Hello, kings and queens, peoples. I'm gonna give it some time for some people to come in. So if you're joining the chat, please say hello so I can give you a shout out. Let's see. Okay. I was hoping to use my laptop, but I guess I won't be able to use it. Don't know what's going on. So guys, if you're joining, if you plan on sticking around, say hello, please, so I can say hello back to you. Let's see who's here. Okay. Okay, we got it. Hi, Concrete. How are you? If it takes me a minute because I'm trying to load up on my laptop so I can see comments, because these comments are so small on the screen. So please bear with me because I'm blind as a bat. But it's all love. It's all love. Ismail, how are you? Hope you guys are having a great evening. I'm doing good, sweetheart. I'm doing good. Taking it one day at a time. You know, life has been throwing some stuff at me, but you know, as survivors, what do? We survive, right? We stand tall, we stand strong. I'm about to throw this laptop out the window. I don't know why it's not working for me right now. Hi, Kukia. I hope I'm saying it right. I murder names too, guys. I butcher them. I'm sorry. Jessica, question. What is your greatest fear? I have none. I have none. The only person I fear is God. That's it. He is the only one I fear. I fear him and love him equally. Yes, you can, Ismail. You can ask anything you like. We could let some people just get in. Thank you. Thank you very much. I love these nails too. I love them. I love the color and everything. And these are glue on. I glue them on. I haven't been to the nail salon in years. I just glue them on. It's so much easier that way. My greatest joy is God. He's my biggest fear. He's my greatest joy. So God wins it in this one. I just want to make sure I don't forget anyone. Okay, so let's see. We're going to answer a few questions and then we'll get into the live. Wait a minute. Okay. I want to make sure I don't. Nate, thank you so much, sweetheart. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Brooklyn girl. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Okay. The Real Curious. What is a trauma bond? What is love bombing? Okay. Well, the trauma bond is pretty much, it's that invisible cord that you share with someone. It's your trauma with their trauma. Okay. And it basically, it's kind of like, you know, those energetic cords that they connect. It's pretty much that cord that connects you with the person who is pretty much causing traumatic experiences in your life. Okay. Whether you realize it or not. It's the bond that you have with an individual who is extremely toxic, whether it be with your romantic partners. I won't forget you guys if you're asking questions. I'm going to go back. Whether it's with your romantic partners or even your family members. Okay, perfect example of a trauma bond. I'm going to give a family member. Let's just say your parent, your mom or your dad is an extremely toxic person, is a narcissist or a sociopath or what have you. And you are connected to that person where it's kind of like an unnatural dependency on that person, that unnatural grip with that person, whereas they are treating you, they're treating you, what's the word for it? They're not treating you right. They're not, they're not emotionally connecting with you. They're not pretty much connecting with you the way a parent should connect with a child. Okay. And what that is, and you feel this sense of attachment with that person. Okay. It's unnatural, but you don't really see it. You being the person who has the bond with that person, you don't really see it. You don't really feel it. It's because there's a part of you, a traumatic, experience you may have experienced as a child or throughout your life, or even with the person that you're connected to. There's a part of you that's holding on to that person. Okay. And I always tell people, when you enter a relationship with other people who have, massive trauma, massive baggage and drama, and it's kind of like the codependent and a narcissist. Okay. The narcissist is the individual who is avoidant, who runs from responsibility, who runs from commitment and intimacy. And the codependent is the one who craves the intimacy, craves the love, craves the affection and the connection. And if you notice that relationship stays together longer than necessary, that's because of the trauma bond that they have. So we're going to get more into that. I'm going to get more into that for you guys as well. And also, if you haven't already, check out the 5 signs that you're in a trauma bond with someone. The video, the shorter version is here on TikTok, but the more extended version is on my YouTube channel. Check out that video as well. And just to let you guys know, if I don't get to answer all the questions, if you do want to reach out to me, if you do have questions, you can always email me. All my information is, if you click the link in my bio, all my information is on the YouTube channel. You guys have every single different way you can contact me. Love bombing is the over excessiveness in the beginning of a relationship or even just during a relationship. Love bombing is pretty much where you're kind of laying it on thick. They're laying it on really thick, and they are showering you with affection, attention, compliments. They're, trying to put you on a high pedestal. That's generally used to pretty much gain the trust, and it's used to kind of get you to attach to the person. Okay. It's not authentic. It's not genuine. It's not sincere. It is pretty much, you'll notice if someone's love bombing you, if you start seeing someone, like usually in the early stages of the relationship, where they're just laying it on really thick. They're charming you. Okay. That's a very big form of charming someone. And it's very appealing. It's very attractive, especially if the person is attractive. And it's just, it does make you, yes, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel validated in some way. But when someone is over excessive, when it's just too excessive, that's pretty much where it's like, yeah, you're trying a little too hard to show me this side of you, when the reality of it is that that's not who they are at all. That's a mask. Thank you, Duran. Thank you so much for that, sweetheart. Let me go back. I just want to make sure I didn't forget anyone. Okay, so we get this one. Okay, let's see. Hi, Maria. How are you? Let's see. Absolutely, Concrete. God is awesome. Let's see. I just want to make sure. Kia, did you ever go through any legal battle with your narc? No, I didn't have to. Any of the narcissists that have been in my life, and it's not just, just an ex, it's just in my life in general. I've never had to go through that, thank God. I've never had to. And in most cases, if I did ever go through it prior to knowing what I know now, I probably would have just lost my mind with it, because, trying to fight a legal battle with someone who is extremely narcissistic or is a narcissist can be, it's very tiring, it's very trying, and it's very stressful. It's very, very stressful. I have not personally gone through it myself, but I have seen people go through it. I've seen people go through the motions, and especially people with children. It feels like a never ending battle, but if you are, you're training yourself, you're pretty much educating yourself on it, you'll be able to know how to properly handle the situation. Because with a narcissist, you have to throw your emotions out the window. You got to throw your emotions away, and you got to be logical. Okay. When it comes to legal battles, guys, if anyone is going through a legal battle, if they're going through family court, divorce court, what have you, I'm very familiar with the court system. They do everything by facts. They do everything based on facts. They do not care about your emotions. They do not care about your opinions. Everything has to be factual. Okay. And I normally advise people, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give legal advice, but in most cases, to protect yourself, I always advise people, make sure you have tangible proof of everything. Text messages, emails, voicemails if you need to. Don't record, don't secretly record anyone, especially if your state does not permit it, because that can be considered inadmissible in court. Okay? So any kind of proof that you have that shows them exposing themselves, that's tangible, that you can print it, you can seal it and keep it locked away until you need to use it, definitely hold on to that. Let's see. YT from Austin. Awesome. Hi, Chemo. Let me just make sure. I know I'm going far back. I want to make sure. Oh, thank you. Mandy, thank you, sweetheart. How can you avoid feeling bad when you get blamed for everything? Well, I actually learned the art of that. And here's what you can do. Here's what I can suggest you can do. You can write down the different situations that transpired. Write down the different things that they're claiming that you did, you said, whatever the case may be. Okay? And take out all of the situations that you take accountability for. All right. So if there are 10 things that you put on your list, and out of those 10 things, you committed 3, that means 7 of those other things are not your responsibility. Therefore, chuck it. That's it. Chuck it. People will deflect a lot, especially let's face facts, guys. A lot of people don't like to take accountability. Okay. They don't like to take accountability. They don't like to admit they're wrong. They don't like to, admit that they effed up. They don't like these things. So what you have to do, since they're not going to be the logical, sensible ones, compromising ones, you're going to have to be the one to do it. And by doing so is you take accountability for anything you have done on your own. You don't take responsibility. You don't take responsibility for the actions of other people. Okay. So if they said something to you, if they insulted you, if they got angry with you, whatever the case may be, you don't take responsibility for it, because if you know for a fact you didn't do anything to warrant that type of behavior, then how is it your fault? It's like when people disrespect you. If they disrespect you, that's a projection from them. That has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do. They just don't respect themselves yet. And at that same time, they're not going to respect you either. Okay. Or people who cheat on you. All right. If they blame you for cheating, that's deflection. You didn't put a gun to their head. You didn't say commit the act. You didn't say, go out there and do your dirt, do your deeds. No, they chose to do these things, right? They chose to take it upon themselves and go out there and do all of these things. So how is that your fault? It's not. Okay. You have to learn how to pinpoint where you've contributed any toxicity you have done, you have done things wrong, or any kind of pain you may have inflicted, whether intentional or not. That is your responsibility to take accountability, but that's because you committed the act. You didn't do it. Hey, if the glove don't fit, must have quit. That's the way I see it. Hi, Mary. What if you expose them to his friends and got a cease and desist on him through a lawyer? Well, I mean, in most cases, when it comes to exposure, guys, here's the one thing I want you to understand, okay? People have a way of flipping things around. People have a way of turning, because you had a personal stake in the situation, okay? So other people who are trying to kind of throw people off their trail, throw people off their scent, they're going to, plant other seeds in other people's heads, okay? When it comes to exposure, I usually advise people be very careful with that because you don't know how they're going to react to it. You don't know what the reaction is going to be. And in some cases, it can get, it can be dangerous. You just don't want to chance that. But they can, manage to manipulate the circumstance. So even though everything did happen to you the way it did and everything transpired, you have to take into account also, not that I say care about what other people think, because you shouldn't worry about what they think or how, other people are going to react, especially their friends, anybody on their end. It doesn't really matter what they think, but take into account that prior to everything, especially if there was a discard, whether you did it to them, they did it to you, you have to take into account that, there is that possibility that they have already gone to these people, spoken to them, okay? Planted those seeds already in their head. They've already filled their heads up. So with you, exposing, with you talking about the matter, it may, I'm not going to say it's going to backfire, but they will more than likely put it in these people's heads that you're bitter. You are just mad that things ended and, they wanted to go in their own direction. Don't forget where they planted the seeds in other people's head that you were the toxic one, that you were the one who was causing problems. You were the one who was being controlling and manipulative. Okay. These are all things that were planted. I normally advise people when it boils down to, talking about the matter, don't be so concerned with the people on their end. Don't be concerned with their friends, their family, people who associate with them. Don't be concerned about them because, more than likely they're going to be on that person's side. More than likely. And at the end of the day, even if you do have people who, they come to your side and they say, hey, yeah, I'm on your side. I'm your friend. I still say take it at face value. Okay. You can't be quick to trust people. You cannot be quick to trust everyone. Look at what happened when you did trust someone and that situation came out. So imagine the people they associate with. You have to protect yourself at all cost. Hi, Chucky. Yeah, Ismail. 99% of survivor stories sound almost like they were committed by one person. It's so creepy because they're, people of this nature, people who it's a behavioral disorder. It's a behavioral pattern. So with the pattern, you have different people who have the same patterns. And this is why it's classified as, in the DSM, it's classified as narcissism because of the behaviors, the patterns of the behaviors. That's how they were able to decipher what is what. So like if you wonder how someone who is a borderline personality disorder, how they differ from a narcissist, it's because of the behaviors, the patterns in their behaviors. It is pervasive, meaning that it is something that is just pretty much branched out. It's, it's spread throughout. But, you have to also keep in mind that clearly not everyone is a narcissist. Okay. Narcissist, I believe makes up, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's either 5 or 6% of the world population. However, people who have narcissistic characteristics, traits, it could be very severe, but they're not classified as narcissists. regardless of it, whether you dealt with a narc, whether you dealt with someone who has severe traits, or you just dealt with an unhealed victim, because someone who suffers PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, may display certain signs that people can confuse as narcissism. Okay. And it's my belief. I mean, I can't tell you that this is the truth. I still have to do more research on it, but it's my belief that they suffer a form of CPTSD. Okay. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And this is as a result of ongoing abuse. Okay. Ongoing abuse for many, many, many years. These are people who are unhealed. These are people who are victims of abuse. They are victims too. However, they have absorbed the abuse and they adopted the abusive behaviors of their abusers. So, and I was talking about this in my live last week on YouTube, where I said not all victims of abuse become abusers. Okay, that's not true. That is not the case. And anyone who tries to tell you, well, I'm a broken person, I was abused as a child, what do you want me to say? What do you expect? It's an excuse. It's an excuse. How many people have been abused and would still not inflict that kind of pain on other people? Okay, that is an excuse. Their abuse, though it was not warranted and it shouldn't have happened, and yes, it's very sad, everybody makes a choice. Okay, and that's what separates victims from one another. That's what separates the good victims from the bad victims. It's the choices that we make. They chose to adopt the abusive behaviors because at the end of the day, when you commit an act, when you make a choice, you're coherent. You are aware. Okay? I don't make excuses for these people. Even though they are victims, I don't make excuses for them. Okay? That's enabling. I'm not going to enable anyone. So with them doing all of this, because everything that you went through in the process of going through the relationship, going through a discard, whatever the case may be, they were well aware of what they were doing. They were very well aware of what it was that they were doing. And at the end of the day, narcissistic people are in the moment kind of people. They do things that make them feel good in the moment. Okay? They'll make a permanent decision based on a very temporary emotion, which a lot of the time is short-lived. Now, if you're dealing with someone who ends up being with, their new supply for longer period, I get that all the time. All the time people comment or, they'll send me messages. Well, their new supply, they're looking happy with them and they're with them, for, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, listen, if you got someone who is willing to put up with your crap and willing to enable those types of behaviors, and they're pretty much, my guess would be, honestly, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, my guess is when, if they discarded you for new supply and they ended up being with them way longer, it's probably because that person is really going through the hamster wheel with that narcissist or that narcissistic individual. They are really stroking the ego. They're really, just because the narcissist, they're not going to use the same shit they used on you, especially when a discard happens, because afterwards they know that you may try to, expose them. You may try to, some people have done it. You may try to reach out to the new supply and try to warn them. So now they have to basically keep that person, off of the whole trail. They got to lay it on thick and they got to hold that mask up a little bit longer. Okay? They have to, because if you're not a victim that was, so shamed, so ashamed, so hurt, so just, like you became a recluse and you just secluded yourself, but you're one who speaks up. You're one who, says what's on your mind, and you're one who stands up for yourself. They know that next person they're dealing with, they got to make sure that person believes them over you. Yeah, and Lovely, I know it's hard. It's hard when you're dealing with someone who has these traits, these qualities. It's really hard because you gave them unconditional love. You gave them, you gave them whatever you could because you wanted to see them happy. They saw that. They knew that. They knew that. But the problem is, you know, you were trying to fill a void within someone else who clearly has just been trained to be that way. Okay. Which brings me to, what I wanted to talk about with regards to the types that you may have dealt with, the types that you may have, you know, because everybody has dealt with a different type of narcissist. Even though a lot of their behaviors are very similar, everyone has dealt with a different type. And in most cases, you either dealt with a vulnerable or an invulnerable. Okay, those are the top types. And the vulnerable narcissists are probably more the scapegoated narcissists. Okay, those were the ones that were, you know, abused, that were just put down, constantly criticized, constantly chastised, constantly, you know, being blamed for the family problems, constantly being used, manipulated, made to feel like they weren't shit. Okay, those are the vulnerable ones. They're the ones with the very extremely low self-esteem. Okay, where they end up becoming very toxic narcissists, very toxic people. All right. And then you have the invulnerable ones. So when you have vulnerable, you're going to have the opposite, which is the invulnerable. And it's my belief that the invulnerable ones, which are the outgoing ones, the very, you know, charming ones, the ones that are, you could just like, they walk into a room and they're just like, they're demanding the attention of everyone in the room. Those were probably the golden child narcissists. Those were the ones that were put on the very high pedestal. So when people kind of confuse, you know, they're like, well, wait a minute, my narcissist was never like this. You probably didn't deal with the golden child. You probably dealt with the scapegoats. Okay, because scapegoats can become narcissists, guys. They can become narcissists and they can become very narcissistic. But the golden child ones are the ones that were, you know, their ego was so overly stroked by their narcissistic parent, by their narcissist parent. It was so overly stroked that they were made to believe that, you know, they deserve the best. They deserve every and anything they want. They don't have to worry about boundaries. They don't have to sacrifice or compromise with other people. They don't have to do these things. Why? Because either mommy or daddy, who was sitting there while they were scapegoating the other child, they were sitting there and putting into that child's head all of the idealistic projections within themselves. So everything that, like, for example, if mom was a narc, everything she felt she deserved in life, everything she has gotten in life, even if it meant stepping over people's toes to get those things in life, she projected that onto that child. Which is why that child, which was probably what a lot of you people have dealt with, whether they be covert or overt narcissists, you guys probably dealt with a lot, you know, fellas, you probably dealt with the kind of females that swear up and down they deserve every and anything, and they don't have to, you know, they don't have to put the work like other people do. You know, I look good just standing here. I make you look good. Those are the very overly ego-stroked type of narcissistic females. Okay. And it's the same thing with the men as well. All right. So ladies, if you dealt with the types of, you know, guys that felt, you know, I'm a man and, you know, these women want me and I look good and this, and, you know, look, all these females throw themselves in me, but here I am with you. You should be happy that you're with me. You should be happy that I'm here with you and all this. Listen, if it were me, I'd be like, bitch, I look good too. What's good? But they will try to compete with you. So even if you have a high self-esteem, even if you don't let them erode your self-confidence, then they will compete with you. Okay? Because with a narcissist, everything is tit for tat. Okay? And they always have to one-up you. They constantly have to one-up people. And it's because they need to be in that driver's seat. They need to be in control. Okay? Now, we got vulnerable, we got invulnerable. Then we have the types underneath it, which are the subtypes. So now we have overt narcissists. The overts are the very loud and obnoxious ones. They're the ones who really don't care. They don't care, you know, how they speak to people. They don't care who sees what. They don't care who has anything to say about any, you know, who has anything to say about anything. They don't care about any of that. Okay, they are the ones who are just pretty much flamboyant. I'm out there. I'm a narcissist and I don't give a shit. That's their attitude. And they pretty much, their abuse is very, verbal abuse. They will, chastise people, shame people, make them feel so damn small, and they'll do it in front of people. No questions asked. No questions asked. And if they're joking, we all know how they are when they're joking, right? There is some form of, when it comes down to that whole joking thing, where they're kind of like, they're stinging you, even though they're trying to make it appear to be a joke. If you respond to it, they get loud, they get abrasive, they get crude, they get, they're just like, oh, you can't take a fucking joke, you're too damn, and they'll do it in front of people. They do not care. Okay, those are the overts. All right, overts, outer. Okay, then you have the opposite of overts, which are the coverts, and those are the ones who do things behind closed doors. Okay, and if it's in front of people, they're gonna mask everything. They're gonna mask how they say things. They're gonna mask the abuse, because at the end, if you guys are in front of people, clearly they cannot have people see them for who they really are. So if they are, masking the abuse publicly, and yet you still respond to it, and yet, give me a moment, Vitamin. If you respond to it, then generally what they're going to do is they're going to basically try to be as, humble as possible with it. Like, oh, I was just joking with you. Like, they're going to flip the script where they're going to make it seem like you are overreacting. You are getting volatile. You are getting aggressive, and they're going to play the victim. Okay? They're going to play the victim. They're going to pretty much just be like, I don't understand why this person is acting like this. I don't know why you're talking to me like that. Meantime, that person was just sitting there and insulting you, masking it with jokes and, crude humor. Okay. And their friends, their family, they don't say anything about it because they're thinking that they're just joking with you. They're thinking, oh yeah, you know what, you're Erica, you're a little too sensitive. I mean, this is his personality. This is her personality. This is just how it is. That's enabling. Okay. And if you see people like that enabling that type of behavior, yeah, get away, and get away quick. Seriously. Then you have the cerebral. Okay. Now the cerebral narcissist. So let's just to recap: vulnerable and vulnerable, main types. Okay. Overt, covert, which fall under those main types. Then you have cerebral narcissists. Those are the brainiacs. Those are the ones who go to college and they use words. They're very, very cold and very callous. They use words to hurt you. Okay. They tend to use their intelligence as a form of superiority. So if you have people who've gone to, to several colleges, they've attained several degrees, and, they're pretty much, they have all of the qualifications of a narcissist. The only difference is that they prefer to really have it's kind of like a verbal match with you, and they use their words like to the best of their ability. Okay. They'll try to make you feel small with words. They'll try to make you feel small with their accomplishments. So they'll try to put you down by, or put down your accomplishments, or put down what it is that you have, what it is you have attained, by comparing themselves to you, comparing their accomplishments with yours, and trying to make you feel like you're beneath them. When they walk into a room, everyone is unintelligible. Everyone is beneath them. Okay. Even though they don't say it flat out, everyone is beneath them. Okay. We'll get into the sex, because it's pretty standard when it boils down to sex with any of the narcissists. But with cerebral narcissists, they're more about the mind. So even if they cheat on you, they may not physically, even though they can. I'm not saying that they don't. They may not physically cheat on you as far as sexually is concerned, but they may cheat on you, as far as communicating with other people. What we interpret as emotional cheating, they interpret it as, narcissistic supply, clearly. And a lot of them, what I've learned, that cerebral narcissists actually, rather than having physical intimacy, any kind of intimacy, but physical intimacy, they prefer self-gratification. Okay. So cerebral narcissists are just pretty much more about screwing with your head. They're more about really, really, and they can get very callous, very cold, very brutal during a discard. Okay, especially when you're dealing with someone who has a command, a really strong command of the English language. They will make you feel so small and hurt you beyond belief by using their words. They don't have to get irate. They don't have to get loud and obnoxious and rude and crude. They will just make you feel really, really small. All right. Now you also have the malignant narcissists. Malignant narcissists are known to be the toxic. All right. So remember that scapegoat narcissist, the one who was always put down and just pretty much created that hard shell where it's like, screw everyone else. It's all about me. The malignant narcissists are more veering towards the end of the spectrum, which is more towards sociopaths. Okay. Which is why some people kind of get them confused, because keep this in mind, guys. A narcissist is not a sociopath, but a sociopath is a narcissist. Okay? So just remember that. Malignants, they run the charm. They put you on the pedestal. Okay? And once they grasp you in that connection with them, it's pretty much a field day for them. All right? The malignants are the types that are very, very devious. Very devious. They're very mischievous. Okay? No boundaries. They don't care about boundaries. They don't care about who either. Narcissist, let me explain something here, guys. When it boils down to like their children, their relationships, their dynamics with people, they're self-sabotagers. That's just within their nature because they were trained to be that way. Okay. They damage relationships. They damage friendships. They damage, their children. Malignant narcissists are extremely detrimental. I also have a video on malignant narcissists on my YouTube channel. They're very, very detrimental. And especially, because you have the male malignants and then you have female malignants. Female malignants they're the types that are like you cannot be serious, that's the mentality you would have dealing with the female malignant narcissist. They will go to the very extremes to try to destroy you, especially if you've rejected them. If you have, if you didn't take their advances, if their charm isn't working on you anymore, they will do every and anything possible to try to destroy your name, try to destroy your character, try to destroy your reputation. Okay. I have seen firsthand, with friends, I have seen dealing with these types of female narcissists where some of them have actually almost cost them their jobs. Like they had almost cost them their jobs to the point where they got them arrested. They had falsified reports by calling rape. Be very careful with that, guys. Be extremely careful with that. These types of females are very, very conniving. They're very cunning. Okay. Which is why it's important. You see a red flag. Listen, at the end of the day, there's 7 billion people on the planet. 3.5 billion of them are women. There are plenty of other women out there. You do not need to be dealing with the female who is just completely toxic in her ways, does not care about her toxicity, and actually projects all of that onto you. Okay. Malignants are considered to be very, very dangerous. Okay. Physically dangerous, volatile, violent. They can get physically abusive with you. Okay. And they're, like I said, they're more veering towards sociopaths. So Lord knows how much further they would be willing to go. I've had people give me stories, like when they email me, they give me stories about different types of people they dealt with. And it's just mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling. And of course, you have the classic narcissist. The classic, somatic, I kind of put those two together, classic and somatic narcissists. Those are the very superficial ones. Those are the ones like at the beginning point of the spectrum. Like it's just like, the ones who are constantly just self-absorbed, very conceited, very about their own needs. It's all about giving them gratification and pleasure and just, whatever. I look good. I can have anybody, those are the types of narcissists that a lot of us are very familiar with, especially with social media. Like when you see them on social media, they may not be a narcissist, but their ways are so narcissistic, and it's just like, okay, I'm done. Like that's, you just get to that point where you're like, I'm just so done. You know, they're just the types that they do anything for attention. Okay, the spotlight has to be on them. Like, give me the attention, give me the spotlight. I'm the one. And the one thing that I want you to also keep in mind, guys, narcissists are they're known to being copycats. Okay, they are very well known for being copycats. They will not only copy, you know, styles, copy trends, copy certain things, but they'll try to take credit for it. They'll try to claim it as their own, or they'll go so far to just really try to get people to believe that, you know, like, I started it first. Like, this looks better on me. This is my style. This is how I do, you know. They will copy people. That whole mirroring thing, okay? Especially when you start like in a relationship with them, they mirror you. They mirror your mannerisms. They mirror, you know, your styles. They'll probably mirror how you talk, and you know, it's pretty much to keep you. They don't have a sense of identity, okay? So they mirror other people. If they came to you and they were themselves, their true selves, I mean, masks falling off, their true selves, they know that you will not stick around, okay? Anyone who knows that they are toxic, they have toxic behaviors, they have toxic tendencies, they know that people, once you get a glimpse of that, you're like, oh, wait a minute, now you all types of crazy. I don't think so. I don't want to deal with it. That is why when you get involved with them and you are already embedded in the relationship, you are already ensnared. You're already caught up in it because you already invested. You invested time, you invested emotions, you invested everything. So it's kind of hard to get out of that when slowly but surely those behaviors start to manifest. They start to, you know, present themselves in front of you. And the longer you stay with them, the harder it is to detach from them, because they've already conditioned you. You were conditioned in your relationship. But a lot of people ask me, I get this question a lot too. How can I avoid attracting these types of people? You know, why do I attract narcissists? Why do I attract narcissistic people? And it's a good question, but the most important question you have to ask yourself is not how to avoid attracting them, because you are probably, there's no avoiding that, because you don't know someone is a narcissist or narcissistic until you actually get to know them. So avoiding attracting them is probably not going to be as easy. But the question you got to ask yourself is, rather than why do I keep attracting these people, the question is, why do I let them stay longer than necessary? That's the question. Okay. We have to remember that anyone can attract a narcissist. Anyone, empath, codependents, securely attached people, non-insecure people, very secure people. You can attract narcissists. You can attract people of this nature. People who are selfish. They're classified as being selfish. They have a highly inflated ego. They're self-important. So they basically put themselves before you. There is no compromise with these people. Their behaviors are considered acceptable. They're considered acceptable because they have enablers in their environment. Okay, a narcissist would cease to exist or would not be, it wouldn't be unless they had enablers. They need people to enable their behaviors to continue on. But if you take away the enablers, if you take away the attention, if you take away the ego stroking, then what do you have? You know what you got? You got a scared little boy or a scared little girl. That's all you have. Their personalities were stripped from them. Okay, so keep it in mind. The people that you have dealt with, you're not dealing with that real person. Okay, you're not physically, you are, but you're not dealing with that real person. You're dealing with the personality that was projected onto that person. Okay, you're dealing with the abuse that was projected onto that person. And like I said, I don't make excuses. They do make their own choices. Unfortunately, they chose to go down the same path of their abusers. They chose to go down the same path of the toxic people or toxic person who projected onto them. Okay? And it's very sad. It's very sad. But nonetheless, people who are here, people who are learning, people who are doing the research and doing what they have to do, you guys chose a very different path. You chose not to be like that because that's not who you are. Okay? That's not who you are. When you went into your relationship, you were a totally different person compared to the person you are when you leave that relationship. Okay? I was a bubbly person. I loved, I just love to be happy. I love to, I was a people pleaser. And people would look at me like I'm a doormat. They walked all over me. And they took my kindness. They took the fact that I was being genuine and being, giving. They took that as a weakness. This, whole experience it would just flip you around. It's going to turn you inside out. And you become the total opposite of who you were before. But this was what helped me realize that I suffered codependency, because I craved the connection so much. And I craved being, with someone who showed me attention, who showed me affection, who showed me that they had interest in me and, told me they love me. They told me they care about me. And because that to a codependent is it's like hearing angels sing from heaven. Okay. If you're codependent or ex-codependent, you know what I'm talking about. You have someone you're attracted to, you have someone you connect with, you have someone that you're like, wow, this person is so cool. And, we share so much together. We have a bond and we're, it's flowing, it's vibing, it's all good. That to a codependent is like taking a child to a candy store. Okay. And just giving them all the candy that they want. And unfortunately, hi Smokeout, how are you? Unfortunately, when they saw, because remember, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but when you were dealing with these people, there was something they said, something they did that it presented a red flag, but you kind of either shrugged it off or you kind of you didn't really pay too much mind to it. Okay. It's always the first red flag that is presented who lets the person who's presenting that red flag to you, it lets them know how you are going to respond. So if you don't respond to it, or if you are just kind of passive aggressive with it, that lets them know I can get away with shit, but I just got to start off small. Okay? That lets them know I can get away with it. I just got to start off small. And slowly but surely over time in your relationship, the mask will eventually, it'll start to drop. But if you notice, it's simultaneously dropping as that trauma bond is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Where now those little red flags are turning into huge red flags. And yet you are still not seeing it. That is their indicator. That's letting them know. I did all of this. I said these things to her. I said these things to him. I did all these things, but they're still here. They're still here. They're not going anywhere. These people test you. They try to test you. They try to test your patience. They try to test your tolerance. They love to push the envelope. Okay? They will always try to push the envelope. And the more they do, the more they say they could be disrespecting you throughout your relationship. They can have nasty attitudes with you. They can do all kinds of stuff that you never saw before when you first met them. Okay? You never saw these things. In the beginning, what was it? It was, oh, great. We're having a great time. We're getting to know each other. We're vibing. We're cooling. We're good. It's all that lovey-dovey stuff. And then what happens? Now it's like you're walking on eggshells. You're afraid to say something because you don't want to tip the boat over, because you don't want to make them angry. You're afraid to point something out to them because they're just going to deflect and they're going to, they're going to just lash out on you. Got to remember that, guys. Okay? They push buttons. They push buttons. They test you. They test your endurance, your strength. And for those who are spiritual people, they do take you away from God because you find yourself actually worshiping these people. Okay? You find yourself literally at the mercy of these people because your loyalty, your kindness, your generosity, your ability to, to just be a kind-hearted person, to be a loving person, that is just pretty much, you're at their mercy. You're willing to do and give anything to make it work. Okay. If they, and don't let them deflect. Please do not let them deflect onto you or gaslight you by telling you, your behaviors are toxic and this relationship is just toxic, because the way they say it to you to make you feel, to make you believe that it's you who's toxic. It's you who's causing the problems. Okay. Why are you toxic? You know why you're toxic? Because you were questioning things. Okay? You were questioning them on things. You were bringing things up. Okay? You were starting to bring things up. You were starting to remember certain things they said. You were starting to see certain things that just didn't look right. Because during that time, if they would ever slip, if anything would slip, and you're like, you told me this on this date, but this doesn't add up now. And then what happens? They want to start an argument. They want to start an argument because they want to flip it around. And by the end of that argument, what's going to happen? You end up being the one apologizing. You end up being the one apologizing for calling some shit out on them. Okay? Give me a moment, guys. Oh, no, honey, you're not crazy. You're not crazy. You're not crazy. I thought I was crazy. I thought I had borderline. I thought I had borderline personality disorder. Okay? I said, maybe I'm bipolar. Maybe. The person asked me, are you bipolar? I'm like, but what? You know why? Because you were picking up that negative energy. You were picking up the negative dynamic, the negative behaviors, and you were getting fed up. Because slowly but surely you started to deteriorate. Your personality started to deteriorate. Your self-esteem was deteriorating. Everything was deteriorating. Okay? Number one, guys, listen. Let's not stray away from the fact that your relationship was one-sided. Okay? One-sided. I can probably guarantee that y'all put in anywhere between, I would say, 80 to 85%. No, we'll even do it. I don't even want to give them 15%. You probably put in 90% of the relationship and didn't even realize it until after you got out of the fog. And their little 10% that they were giving to you, they made it seem like it was a gold mine. Okay? It was a gold mine. No, you were not crazy. Okay? If they picked fights with you, it was because they wanted to get out the house, because they wanted to go do what they wanted to do. See, these are the kind of people, it's like I told you guys, they do not do commitments. They don't know how to do commitments. They don't know how to keep the connection going. Now, I mean, listen, I could sit here and say, well, the psychological reason for that is because, we want to go into our psychology books. It's because mom and dad really didn't connect with them. Therefore, they don't know how to properly connect and sustain other relationships. Okay, yeah, that's the psychological reason. But the moral reason is because they know that what they're doing, they can't provide for you, they can't commit to you, but yet they want the connection because they want the supply, and they have to give you the impression that this is what they want. It's like a child will say anything to get what they want, right? Children will say anything to get what they want. They'll do whatever is necessary to get what they want. These people will pretty much do whatever is necessary to get what they want, even if it means your supply, your attention, your validation, your ego stroking. And I'll be really honest with you. These are the laziest mofos, man. When it comes to an emotional stance, when it comes, when it comes to even a moral compass, they're very lazy. Because as much as they can do this work themselves, they can validate themselves, they can learn to love themselves. And as much awareness as we're creating, and they know this awareness, they see it, and they still won't change, they're lazy. They're lazy. Because if I was a codependent and I decided, you know what, I don't want to be a codependent anymore. I don't want to rely on people for validation. I want self-love. I want to be able to sustain my own emotions and, I can still stand tall and be strong whether you're with me or not. I did the work. Because I deserve better. No, they'd rather just be like, why do the work when I could just get it from you? Why do it when I could just get it from you? And they continuously do this throughout their lives with several people. I don't know how many of them have been, put out of commission, if you know what I mean, because they done met with the wrong type of people. They think they can get away with these things. And yet, my thing of it is when they meet their match. That to me is probably like when the two volcanoes come together and they meet someone who is probably a sociopath, who's like 100 degrees more on the spectrum, and that person severely discards them. Okay, that would definitely be a sight to see. Absolutely. Yeah, and the thing of it is, I wish I wasn't on point. I wish people don't have to go through this. I really, really wish they wouldn't have to go through this. Unfortunately, it does happen. It does happen. And, it just, again, it's not why you attract them. It's why they are staying in your life longer than necessary. Okay. And this whole thing, another thing I wanted to mention on it, this whole thing about when they try to come back into your life, whether it be a short period of time or an extended period of time. I want newbies, people who are new to this, people who are learning about this for the first time, and maybe some people who are still kind of trying to find their way. I want you to understand something. Whether you've gone through the cycles more than once or you have, you're just experiencing it for the first time. The idea of them coming back into your life and promising you the world, promising to do anything you ask of them, anything you want them to do, whatever the case may be. This is not because of love. Okay? When they try to hoover you, if they try to come back into your life, especially, guys, if you have done all the work you need to do, you've done your healing, and you are becoming a better version of yourself, okay? If they see you shining, they see your glow up, they see you moving on with your life, they see you're happy, you're smiling. Hell, if you're in a new relationship and that person makes you happy, if they see this and they decide they want to come back, it is not because they are sorry. It is not because they love you, okay? And I'm not saying you're not worthy of love, because we all know you are, but it's because they want to reconfirm for themselves that they can still have an effect on you. They can still control you. They try to be Mr. Steal Your Girl and Mrs. Steal Your Man type of people. Okay. They want that confirmation that they can take you away from anyone, that they can maintain control in your life, that, they can come and, come to your door wrapped in a big red bow, thinking that, they will use sex. They will use, they'll use whatever tactics they have to use to try to get you to fall right back into that place with them. Please do not fall for it. Do not fall for it. Do not listen. If they text you, hopefully you change your number. But if they text you, block them. If they send you a message, don't even bother reading it. Just delete it. Just delete it. Okay? Because the minute you respond, the minute you react, the minute you know, especially if they try to be on some hey stranger type shit, like, you know, or hey big head, you know, long time no see and just want to see how you were doing and see how things, no. Do not let them take you out of your peaceful space. Do not let them, hold on a second. Oh, I think I hit the wrong. Oh, Dan, I'm glad you found me too. I got you, girl. Don't worry about it. I look at it as, you know, something, your peace. Remember what I said in my video, right? Peace is priority. That's your priority. Okay. And anyone that you feel, and now that you went through everything, you can feel when someone's trying to mess with your peace. You can feel when someone's trying to bait you, when someone's trying to, you know, trying to interfere because they see you being happy. You can feel those things. Okay. Your peace is so important now. Your peace is just like, it's your everything. It's like your zen, right? When they try to interfere with that, it's because they know you have peace in your life. They know that what they were doing was being detrimental to you. They know all of these things. They just didn't care. At that point in time, they didn't care. And now that you decided, all right, I'm going to just go my own way. I'm going to move on. I'm going to just do what I have to do. It's kind of like, they look at it like you guys are on a break. You look at it like, no, you out my life for good, right? But if you notice, I don't know if some of you have gone through this where during, you know, after the discard, it could have been a very brutal one, could have been a very heartbreaking one, you know, and again, what discard isn't. And it's kind of like, almost like if some time goes by and it's just like if nothing happened, like you never got an apology. You never got clarity. You never got closure. Okay. You had to go snooping around. You had to look through shit. You had to do some FBI stuff to try to gain some form of clarity. Okay. And the reason you didn't get clarity was because you were never supposed to know. You were never supposed to know. Okay. They were supposed to gaslight you. I would never do that to you. How could you think like that? I would never do this. I would never do that. Okay. You see, you're always accusing me of stuff. What are you talking about? You're seeing things. Okay. After you done saw what you saw, you heard what you heard. Okay. And they've given you all reason to believe that, you know, this clearly is over. But if you notice, they won't give you any closure. They won't tell you it's over. They won't say it's done. They'll either offer you friendship because they want to keep their options open. These people like to keep their options open. Okay. Especially if they feel like they were bored. If they feel like they're bored with the situation. If they're not getting anything out of it. But another reason, I've told you this before, guys, too. Another reason they would discard you is if they think you're going to leave them first. They will leave you before you leave them. They suffer abandonment issues. So if they think you are going to go and be with someone else, or you're going to, you know, because let's face facts, guys. Let's face facts, okay? Vamos a hablar, okay? All this time during your relationship, you're trying to communicate with them the issues that your relationships have, right? You try to communicate with them your feelings. You try to just basically sit them down and say, listen, we have some issues. Let's work through it. Let's talk through it. But because they have no intention on working through it, they have no intention on talking through it, and they're seeing that you're becoming annoyed because they're not contributing to the relationship. They're not giving you any kind of, you know, they're not giving you anything to grasp onto, to hold on to, even though you are holding on for dear life and you're trying to explain it to them. They take that as, if you don't get on your shit, I'm gonna screw your best friend. I mean, not in so many words, but you know what I mean, okay? That's how they take it. And their ego is so fragile. Their self-esteem is already so low. They cannot take your rejection. They cannot take you leaving them in the dust and finding someone else who would be willing to fulfill you, love you down, take care of you, and you do the same for them. They can't. So what do? Well, I'm going to discard you before you discard me. I'm going to let you go before you do it to me. So that way, when everything happens, it'll be you who's hurting and not me. That's what they do. That is what they do. And I can believe it. Hey, San Diego, I'm gonna say where you're from, because the names are so tiny. I can't see. And if I put my eye any closer, you'll see up my nose. Yeah. So that's what they do, guys. They will hurt you before you hurt them. So they'll either discard you because they get bored easily. They got bored with the situation. They got bored with the way things were. And, it's just not doing it for them. It's not fulfilling them anymore. A lot of the time, and here's my take of it. And you guys, like I said, you don't have to quote me on it. But these are just my theories, my opinions on it, okay? I think the ones who leave you for new supply, not all of them, clearly, any kind of narcissist can do it, but I think the ones who just like so boldly and so brazenly and so blatantly, like not only discard you, but really just like drag you through the mud and shame you. And, when they throw their new supply in your face and they just do all that horrible shit to really hurt you. Those for me are like the golden child ones, the invulnerable ones, the flashy ones, the ones that have to like give a show and really, show the world that, I can do better and and the ones who leave before you leave are more the scapegoated ones. Those are the ones who are like, I can't take more. I just can't take any more. I already had, like, they had it throughout their life, and they just like, you know what? I can't do it. I can't take any more rejection. I can't take any more shame. I can't take any more pain or, whatever. And they end up sabotaging because they're already expecting to be disappointed. They're already expecting for the other shoe to drop with you, when the reality of it was that they were sabotaging your entire relationship the whole time, even though you were holding on to them. You were holding on to the relationship and you were trying your hardest to make it work. And they ended up pulling this on you where it hit you like a ton of bricks. Like, oh shit, I didn't even see that coming. I thought we were working on things. I thought this was, but don't fall asleep on it, because just because you dealt with a scapegoat and you dealt with a golden child type of narcissist, either way, they both deflect. Okay. They both avoid accountability. They both are toxic. They're both toxic. So it doesn't matter which type, but you probably get a better idea, which is why it's important. The different types, because you'll get a better idea of like the certain signs to look for, the red flags to kind of look for. Okay. And, as an ex-codependent, I didn't realize that I was attracting the kind of people who were, I looked at myself as being broken, and I figured, I'm attracting broken people. I'm a broken person, and that's another thing, guys. A lot of us either were broken, felt broken, and there was that little glimmer of hope when you dealt with that person. Okay. That was your trauma. Whatever that was, it was holding on to something with that person. And I've learned that people who suffer their own inner trauma from their own childhood, they end up attracting the kind of people who have caused that trauma in their life. Believe that or not. they end up attracting the kind of people who have caused that trauma. Okay. So I'm not trying to trigger anyone. I'm not trying to, open up any doors like that for anyone, but we'll face the reality of it. Some of the reasons why people hold on to these types of people for longer than necessary. Prime example, if you're, let's say, ladies, your dad wasn't in the picture, okay? Your dad up and left, whether he abandoned you or abandoned your mom, but your mom is a narcissist, and, he just, and she just filled your head up with these types of situations about your dad, making you resent him, or whatever the case may be, or she made you to believe, or he had you believing that, his rejection, his abandoning you, that's rejection. His rejection was your fault. So what do you end up doing? You end up trying to find relationships that will fill that void that you craved as far as the connection is concerned with your father. Okay? It happens. It does happen. You may end up, fellas, you may end up with a narcissistic female if you had a female role model in your life, or even a male role model. It doesn't just go to, to mom. It can go to dad too. And the behaviors of that narcissistic parent in your life, you are so accustomed to those types of behaviors that became a part of who you are, even though you're not a narcissist. So what do you end up doing? You end up with females who have these same characteristics because their behaviors they're familiar to you. You go with what you're familiar with. So if you had a narky mom, chances are you're going to end up dealing with a narcissistic female because her behaviors are pretty much synonymous to the behaviors of your mother. Okay? And it's not your fault. And then I want people to understand that you're not at fault for this, guys. You didn't ask for any of this. You didn't ask for codependency. You didn't ask for narcissism. You didn't ask for any of that. You just wanted a normal relationship. You wanted a normal life. You wanted to, you basically wanted someone who was a reflection of you. You did get someone who is a reflection of your trauma. That's what you got. Release the trauma, work on it, work on yourself, and you will end up attracting someone who is just like you. Not the trauma. I'm telling you, I love the psychology stuff. And that good old, motivational speaking. I learned the hard way, guys. I learned the hard way. But at the end of the day, there's a blessing in the lesson. There's a blessing in the lesson. And if you just really work on yourself, okay? And don't do it for anybody else. Do it for you. Do it for you. I don't care if your ex made you feel this small and they try to, once you learn they're projecting, people are projecting themselves. Once you learn that, that's just a projection of you, ain't got nothing to do with me, you'll be good. You'll be good. You will not let anything that anybody says affect you. You'll just be like, huh? Oh, so that's how you feel about yourself? Yeah, you might want to work on that. I'm just saying. So therapy is really good for anybody, even if they don't have narc parents. And it's great. Yeah, it definitely is. It absolutely is. Therapy it's a way to keep that healthy lifestyle flowing. Absolutely. I wish I had gone to therapy sooner when I was younger. It probably would have helped me throughout my adult life but at that time, you grew up in that kind of environment. It's considered normal. It was considered a normal lifestyle. But therapy, I strongly, strongly recommend anyone to just go and, just whether it's, every other week or once a month, just to kind of, it's like that mental health check. You know what I'm saying? Everybody goes for physical, right? You go to physicals, you get ladies get mammograms, and guys, you get all kinds, it's about keeping your health. It's important to have physical health. Yes. But it's more important to have mental health, because if we're not mentally healthy, then it deteriorates everything else. So do not be ashamed to go to therapy. Do not feel ashamed. Do not, you don't even have to tell anybody that you're going. If it's nobody's business, you're doing it for you. Especially if you have children, guys. If you have children, your mental health, they're dependent on your mental health. They're dependent on you. So absolutely, if you can do therapy, do it. Do it. It'll open a lot for you. It may even open doors to trauma that you didn't even know you had. And I had the other day a massive trigger, but it wasn't anything in relation to, like my past relationship or anything. It was an inner trauma for me. It was an inner child trauma. And it was kind of like being released, and it was painful. It was very painful. And I was literally bawling, crying, and I couldn't breathe. But when I released it, it felt so good. It just felt so good. It felt like another door opened, another burden released. It takes time, but you can do it. You can do it. And you just come to realize that everything they ever said to you, how they treated you, the way they made you feel, the way they made you feel about yourself, they made you feel like you weren't worthy. They made you feel like you weren't good enough. You realize that all of it was just a lie. That's all it was. It was a lie. And you'll just see yourself in such a hey, listen, you want to be a little conceited with yourself, okay? Not going to hurt nobody. Be selfish with yourself. Not going to hurt nobody. Lift up your spirits. Bring yourself up there. It's okay to have a little ego, guys. It is okay. As long as you don't have a chip over your shoulder, it's okay to have a little ego. It's okay to feel good about yourself and confident. There's nothing wrong with that. You're beautiful. You're handsome. Feel good about yourself and feel good doing it, And as long as you're not stepping over nobody's toes, you're not putting anybody else down, you're not hurting other people, there's nothing wrong with it. There is nothing wrong with it. And I think you guys deserve it. You already had someone else or other people trying to strip away your self-confidence, your self-esteem, trying to chip away at, whatever they could, because that's how they felt about themselves. Only that power, let me tell you something. You don't put power in anyone else's hands. No one else's hands. The only power I put in the hands of God. I don't put no power in anyone else's hands, because the minute they have that power, they can disrupt your peace. They can disrupt your life. They can, they can hurt you. They can control you. It's like the puppet with the strings. No, don't give it to them. Exactly. Fill your cup to fill others' cups with your overflow. Absolutely. You fill your cup first. And if other people, and it's not about being followers, if other people, want to benefit from it, but these have to be people, guys, that can prove themselves loyal. Okay? Prove themselves loyal. If you're a loyal person, I'm the kind of person, listen, when you lose my trust, if you lose my trust, a lot of people don't get it back. They don't get it back. I'm a Capricorn. I'm stubborn. I'm very stubborn. And I'm just one of those where people think I hold a grudge. I don't hold a grudge. I really don't. Because holding a grudge means I'm being bitter, and I'm just, I don't do that. I just don't forget shit. That's me. Okay? I don't hold a grudge. And it's okay. It's okay. I can't. Nick, I'm going to call you Nick. Cancers, have, but it's okay to have emotions. Emotions are fine. Emotions are fine. It's when it's unstable that it's a problem. If you're an emotional being, you're an emotional being. Nothing wrong with that. You just got to balance it. That's it. Because if people see that you're overly emotional, being overly emotional is beneficial for you, because it just goes to show that you're empathetic and you're sensitive, and you have genuineness. But it can be a curse for you, because people can see that and they can take it to their advantage. So be very careful with that. Just balance it out. Balance it out. That's it. If you got too much yin, put some yang, and vice versa. Balance it out. Just, but just don't, whatever you do, don't let other people tell you that you're wrong for having emotions. You're not wrong. Fellas, gentlemen, men who have emotions, men who show respect, men who show decency, men who just are just caring individuals. In my book, that's fucking sexy, okay? I like men who are like that, who can be emotionally available. Like, who wouldn't want that, right? Who wouldn't want that? And that is what gets a true caring, loving woman, okay? When she can see a man who not only knows how to sustain emotions, how to express emotions, but he also considers her emotions. Your emotions and her emotions will connect. And that's where you two will balance each other out. But if you got one person who's emotional and another one who is just stone cold, this stone cold person is going to end up draining the crap out of the emotional person, because that person's trying to sustain the relationship emotionally for the both of them. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It really isn't. I find myself crying more, and that's good. That's good. Let it out. Let it out. What is it? I don't know if you guys saw the show on Netflix, One Day at a Time, and the grandmother goes, it's funny, it's stupid, but it's funny. She's like, tears are the pee-pee of the face. Like it's just basically, it's you releasing. It's fine to cry. Crying is perfect. I think people who don't cry are psychopaths. That's my opinion, guys. That's just my opinion. If people don't cry, they're psychopaths. Like, come on. I cry when I see little babies on YouTube, and puppies, and or when I see good deeds being done, I get overly emotional, and I'm just like, okay, I wipe my tears. It's fine. It's fine to cry. It's fine to let it out. Just go through it. As long as you get through it, go through it as many times as you need. Yeah, you know what? And just remember, fellas, you guys, if you find yourselves becoming overly emotional now as opposed to before, you are releasing a lot of what you have suppressed. Okay? I happen to know this for a fact. When it comes to men, men have a better way of suppressing. They suppress. It's just suppress. Women are different. Women are, we're going to talk about it now. Let's talk about it now. Nope. That's why when I see all these videos, when they joke about how women, I'm sorry, guys. Hi, done. I'm sorry. I can't even see it. I got to fix my laptop. But women are more like, they can't wait. We need to talk about it because we need to get through this. Men just push it. You guys do that. You push it to the back of your head. You suppress it, which is why when a lot of you have experienced heartbreak and I'm not knocking you, shaming you or anything, but when a lot of men experience heartbreak and, it's at the hands of someone they love and they trusted, a lot of men have been raised to believe that they have to be, that crying isn't masculine. Crying is not what a man does. Getting overly emotional is not what a man does. It's, emotions. It's just, it's for women. It's set for women. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Okay? It's bullshit. And it's because of the fact that a lot of men suppress the pain, suppress the, what they had gone through. Traumatic experiences, especially when you suppress it, that's PTSD. Okay? You can get PTSD from a traumatic relationship, guys. You can get that. Okay? And when you suppress, you're pretty much locking it up. You're suppressing every emotional, every traumatic experience, everything you've gone through. When you suppress it, you lock it up. And then what ends up happening? You end up getting into a situation where something happens and then you become severely triggered. Because somewhere along those lines, there's going to be something that's going to trigger all that you have been suppressing. And then you're going to be reactive. Please be careful with that, guys. Please be careful. Don't suppress. Don't do it. Okay? Because you can end up really hurting someone. You can end up hurting someone that you would care about, that you maybe possibly could see a future with. You would end up hurting that person and end up really losing out on a good relationship because of that. So if you're one of those who is used to suppressing emotions, feelings, trauma, I urge you to really work on it. Really work on it. Talk to a therapist, talk to a trusted friend, talk to, any of the coaches, if you guys have coaches that you go to, and really release that. Please really release that, because you would be missing out on so much. And not only that, but suppressing it over time, it makes you detached. It makes you unemotional. It makes you emotionally unavailable. Because when you suppress it, you just don't, you become cold-hearted. And it's like someone who has a good heart, but now is masking it with stone, you're missing out on a lot. You're really missing out on a lot. And you got a lot of beautiful women on here too who have gone through it, but they're working on themselves. Okay? And they want someone of their equal. So get on it, fellas. Get on it. Yeah. I've been in a relationship with someone who he suppressed. He just held on to the drama. He held on to the trauma. And he maintained relationships with the people who have caused the trauma in his life. People tend to think that because, if you have family members, I can't cut off my family. If they're toxic, why not? If they're not going to do anything to change their ways or their behaviors, why not? Why not? Why can't you distance yourself if they are clearly not adding to your life, but they're taking away from you? Why can't you do that? Because a lot of people feel obligated. And that sense of obligation was also put onto them. Okay? If, you guys got to remember that we as women, we can only take but so much. We can. And I dealt with someone who was severely traumatized. He was severely traumatized. He was very narcissistic. He had very narcissistic tendencies. And it was something that was clearly, was projected onto him. He was holding on to a past trauma and projecting onto me. He was projecting onto me. And I felt each and every time he projected onto me, he would compare me. He would compare the things I was doing. He would compare what I would say. He would try to catch me in a lie. I'm like, I don't even know. He would do all of these things. He was very paranoid. He was very, he was secretive. He was definitely secretive, very guarded, very cold. At times he was nice. He was nice at times. And then at other times he was very, very callous, very heartless. He would say mean and hurtful things to me. And, I was with him almost 3 years. Now, some people would ask me, why would you be with someone like that? Why would you stay with someone like that? There were sides of him that he was showing me that made me melt. Okay. And it made me hold on because I wanted to subconsciously, I think I wanted to save him. I think that's what I wanted to do. And I said to myself, if I show him, if I prove to him, if I constantly prove to him that I am a good person, that I love him, that I care, I'm genuine, I'm not trying to hurt him. But the more I tried to prove, the more he was testing me, and the more he was pushing me, and the more he was going at it. And, it got to the point where I guess he just could do no more. He could do no more damage. So I was pretty much told that I was a toxic one. I'm toxic. I am controlling. I am, just trying to just control everything within the relationship and trying to, see things my way, whatever the case may be. And the only thing, I wanted was for it to be treated the way I was treating him. But again, why did you stay, Erica? Well, because there were sides of him that were where I was holding on to good memories and I was allowing it to happen. And each and every time he disrespected me, each and every time he talked to me hurtfully, he would, just be cruel and crude and mean. He was very one-sided. Okay, I had to do, I had to appease him. I had to fulfill his insecurities. I had to pretty much make sure that my actions were not making him insecure. I had to make sure that, I had to prove so much to that man. I really did. And all to prove to him that I am not like the same person he chose to stay connected to, by the way, guys, that I was not like that. And all for me, in the end, to be disrespected, degraded, disregarded, and completely outcasted. Because when everything happened, this is why I tell you guys, don't sit there trying to hold on to their family. Don't sit there and try to hold on to their friends. Don't sit there thinking that everybody who is in their life, because they're cool with you, remember this, they're cool with the ex too. Okay? The same. And in my situation, well, my ex situation, I should say, they're cool with the same person who was, just as narcissistic as he was and was emasculating. Okay? She's a very emasculating person. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I don't even need hearsay. But they're cool with that ex too. So don't bank on family members coming to you saying, "Hey, Billy Bob Joe, how you been? It's been a long time." No, not long enough. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it going. I'm good. We don't need to talk. We're not friends. We're not enemies. We're not friends. We're nothing. So just keep it moving. So just be careful with that too, guys. Well, I mean, listen, am I saying you should leave your bitch ass wife? I don't know. That's up to you. If she's clearly not respecting you, if she's clearly not valuing you, if she's not doing any of these things, and yet you are doing these things for her, if that is the case, then there's no harm in leaving. Go for what you feel you deserve. Don't stay in a relationship with someone just because, some people stay in relationships because they're afraid to be alone. Some people stay in relationships because they're dependent on that person. They're financially dependent on that person, emotionally dependent. Those are not reasons to stay in a relationship. Children are not reasons to stay in a relationship. Okay? You can do things on your own, sustain your own emotional, your own emotions, your own life independently. You don't have to be in a relationship with anyone if those are factors, because you're not going to get anything out of it anyway. So you'd pretty much just be wasting your time. Listen, guys, it's not your job. It's not your job to fix broken people. And as much as you want to help people, as much as you want to see the good in people and you want to show your empathy and your sympathy and your love, it is not your job. You're going to cut yourself trying to fix broken people. And sometimes, just sometimes, guys, I got to say this. Sometimes people are facing their karma in life and you are just interfering. So you have to be careful. You don't want that on you. Pay attention to those red flags, guys. Those are hoovers. They're trying to bait you. You got to pay attention to everything. Pay attention to everything. Okay? People need, these people need God. They need some kind of guidance. They need listen, at the end of the day, let them get their ass whooping the way they need to get it, okay? Because nobody was helping you when you were going through it. Nobody was there for you when you were going through it. They weren't there for you. Their family wasn't there for you. Their friends weren't there for you. None of them were there for you. And maybe you might have had a couple of friends that were there for you, but then after a while, what happened? They got tired of hearing it, right? They got tired of hearing about it because they don't understand what you had gone through. All right. No one, when you had gone through the motions and the emotions on your own, that's the most independent time of your life. That was where your strength, it was a test of your strength. And look at where you guys are now. Look at where you are now. So do not sit here thinking that you're not strong, because you are. This was a very big test of your strength. And look at you. You got through it. You getting through the motions. Let God deal with them. I have the saying, I don't do revenge, I let God avenge. They're not my problem. None of them are my problem. They never were my problem. They're not your problem either. Okay? So you guys keep doing what you do. Keep looking beautiful. Keep looking handsome. Keep working on yourselves. Keep doing your things. Keep staying kings. Keep staying queens. You keep on. You keep on. And be proud of yourself. Be proud of how far you guys have come. Look at where you guys are now compared to people who couldn't even get to where you are, who couldn't take it and decided to, be very, very proud of yourselves. Okay? And continue doing it. Continue going forward. Don't look back. Do not look back. All right? The only time, ladies, the only time you need to look back is when you want to see how fat your ass is getting. Okay? That's when you look back. Otherwise, don't bother with them. Don't bother with any of them. You guys deserve so much more. You deserve so much better. You really, really do. And I'm so glad that you guys came here tonight. I'm glad you guys joined me. I hope you guys were able to catch the glimpse of the female sociopath video. I have 2 of them on my channel, guys. So that one is the more recent one, and I have another one from an earlier time on the channel. Check them out, especially you fellas. I know you guys probably have dealt with these types of females, and it'll definitely teach you and help you in deciphering the good women. Okay? When you learn about the bad behaviors of these bad females, you will learn how to appreciate the good behaviors in the good women who are willing to love you, because you deserve it. All right? So don't let these people have you convinced that you're not worthy of love. You are more than worthy of it. And it'll come in its own time. Work on your healing. Healing. All right, guys. So I thank you guys so very, very much for being here. I'm so glad, honey. I'm so glad they help. And if you guys have questions, please do not hesitate to message me. I get so many on TikTok, and sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I get caught up. But if you can, guys, if you want to email me, my email is in my description boxes on my YouTube channel. If you want to message me directly, you can message me on Instagram, also on my YouTube channel. And, again, whatever help you need, any questions you may have, okay? I'm not charging for it, nothing. Any questions you may have. I do have people asking me when I could do a video chat. Currently, I'm not really available to do video chats right now at this precise moment, but when I get back into it, I will definitely let you guys know. But in the meantime, just reach out to me if you need help with anything. Reach out to me, send me an email, send me a message, on Instagram. All right. You guys can also catch me on Facebook. I'm all over the place, guys. I'm everywhere. I told you, I'm shutting shit down. I'm going to try my best to shut it down as best as I can. On Instagram. All right. You guys can also catch me on Facebook. I'm all over the place, guys. I'm everywhere. I told you, I'm shutting shit down. I'm going to try my best to shut it down as best as I can. All right. So, guys, thank you so very much. Just give me 1 second. I'm just so tired of women playing games, and I don't know what's going on. I'm just... something I'm going to tell you, Daniel, I'm going to tell you something. I'm a mother. Okay. I have a teenage son, and If there's anything I want to see is my son happy. Okay? Which is why I do a lot of videos. If you go on my YouTube channel, okay? I do a lot of videos on female narcissism. I do a lot of videos on, the toxic traits and behaviors. And as a mother, and I can relate to any mother who cares about their children, especially, their sons, it's just the matter of working on you, okay? Understanding what you deserve. When you understand what you deserve, when you understand the meaning of respect, in that sense of self-respect, okay? Your self-respect, your self-value, your self-worth, you do not put that in the hands of other people. You don't put that in the hands of other people. They have no right to appraise you. They have no right to appraise your value. That's what I teach my son, okay? My son, I want him to be as happy as possible, and I would love for him to meet a woman that when my time comes, she's going to be with him, she's going to take care of him, he's going to take care of her. As a mother, I teach my son these things because I am teaching my son to be someone's husband, someone's father, okay? I'm teaching these things to my son. And it's important that he understands his self-value, his self-worth, his self-love does not go in the hands of any other female. It doesn't go in the hands of anyone, let alone a female. A lot of these females who suffer, listen, some of them have daddy issues. Some of them have mommy issues. Some of them just have issues. They feel some kind of way towards men. They feel some kind of way because of whatever their issues are. They are simply projecting onto you. You have to learn how to. It's hard, I know. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Be the intelligent person in the situation, okay? You be the intelligent person. Be the logical person. Be the emotionally mature person. And let them know. This type of behavior is toxic. This type of behavior is not the kind of behavior that if in the future I have a daughter, I want my daughter projecting. Okay? If you want to have a daughter, if you want to, children in general, but if you want to have a daughter, think about the kinds of behaviors that you would want your daughter to present to present to people. Because your daughter is going to be the reflection of you. Okay? And you have to think about the kind of mother that person or the woman or whomever comes into your life, what kind of mother they would be, what kind of person they are just in general. Okay? Your self-worth comes, your self-worth, your respect, your self-respect, your self-value, everything starts to kick in. Okay? And I know it's hard because you have a lot of women that are full of shit. I get it. I completely understand and I get it. But sometimes it just takes one good woman to help you understand and help you to decipher what to look for, how to see the patterns. And there you go. There you go. You get to see the red flags a mile away. That's what my job is to show you those red flags before they even come in your direction. Because the problem is with a lot of men, the red flags get here. The red flags get to this point. And what we want to do is we want to keep it at least 100 feet, and if you can see up to 100 feet, you can see that red flag. You'll stop it before it gets close enough to you. So just continue to, join the lives, continue to watch the videos. If you have questions, message me. If you want my honest opinion on things, I'll be more than glad to help you with it. Okay? It's, not every woman is a bad woman. Not every woman is the same. You have women who have gone through trauma. You have women who are broken. You have women who are abusers. And you have women who are just as scared as you are to even get involved because they're afraid of getting hurt. But my job is pretty much this. If I'm going to help you be single, I'm going to help you be single because you truly just want to enjoy your emotional independence and just as a whole, not because you're scared to be hurt. Okay? My job is to help, deprogram Let's deprogram the mind. All right, let's deprogram it and let's get back on the right track. All right, so Daniel, it's don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Have more faith in yourself. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna see a lot of different things. And like I said, if you need any help with anything, guys, any of you, I'm here. I'm here. I'll answer your questions. I have no problem with that. And just, you know, we got this, guys. We're going to get through this, all right? Anybody who's new, anybody who's just joined, thank you so much. Anybody who has followed, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the shares of the videos. I keep track of all of that, guys. Thank you for the, you know, just helping create the awareness. And just know that, you know, in this part, on this end here, you can talk about it as many times as you need to. Okay? That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for. I have my friend Amanda. She acts as my moderator and she helps me with, you know, with helping other people, organizing things. We're here to let you know that we will never get tired of hearing your stories. We'll never get tired of letting you vent and letting you express yourself. I will never get tired of it. That's why I started these channels. Okay? So guys, again, I thank you. I thank you so much. I thank you guys for being here. You guys are awesome. You truly, truly all are awesome. Thank you so much for the love, for the gifts. I saw all that, guys. Thank you so much for that. And just continue thriving, guys. Continue shining, glowing up, all that good stuff. And continue blocking, no contact, ignoring, and just making your peace priority. That's what's important. That's what's key. All right. Much love to you guys. I hope you guys all have a great weekend. I'll be back here next week. Okay. We'll talk about some more stuff. If you have suggestions, anything you want to talk about in particular, if you had questions and I didn't get to answer them, I apologize. Send me a message with your questions and I'll be more than glad. And yeah, if you have any suggestions for next week, let me know. I'm all ears. All right, guys. So again, have a great night. Much love to you all. Thank you so much for being with me. I will see you next week. Love, peace, happiness, all that good stuff. You guys already know. Good vibes only. All right, guys. Have a good night, guys. Bye.